Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. So I wanted to take some more time to talk about the Ahsoka finale. I obviously did a full review. It was uploaded yesterday. If you go to my videos, you'll see it. But today I want to focus less on my feelings and look, I guess, logically, contextually, where the story can go moving forward and what it will look like just generally. First of all, I gotta say, even I'm a little surprised how closely, in a way, they've been keeping to the Thrawn trilogy. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about really specific plot details, things are way different, but we've seen so many elements related to Thrawn's plan and the way he's used brought over pretty much one for one. For example, one thing that was really interesting about Legends Thrawn is that despite not understanding or certainly possessing the Force, he always did his best to make use of it, even doing so in ways Force users hadn't considered, which really shows his intelligence to use something that he's got no real understanding of. Jorah Sabayoth in Legends was his vehicle for this. He used Sabayoth's Force powers to coordinate attacks across the galaxy. In canon, the stand-ins are obviously the Great Mothers and whatever else he uses from Dathomir. Another element that was brought over is the way Thrawn compensates for a lack of troops. In Star Wars Legends, the Empire at this point is in a fairly similar place. No organization, no new troops coming in. He gets over that by using clones, mostly to man his ships. Thrawn wasn't fighting much of a ground game. In the finale, it was revealed that, surprise, surprise, the catacombs that Thrawn was excavating are filled with dead soldiers, and given what we saw in the finale, he'll be using those as reincarnated something. I think people are assuming that they'll simply be foot soldiers, as we saw against Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine, but I'm not necessarily sure that's the case. As a matter of fact, given Dathomiri magic, I think it's quite possible that Thrawn intends to use these bodies as he did in Legends to man ships across the galaxy. This time, not only does he have the Force to coordinate the thoughts of his beings across the galaxy, but he can also use Night Sister magic, who seem to be somewhat directly puppeting their minions. So I think that's quite interesting. I think one thing that I take issue with in Season 1 is not how Thrawn was portrayed, but in his lack of a devastating blow. People are complaining that Thrawn got beat or that he didn't strategize well, and that's quite simply not the case. Thrawn accomplished his objective despite facing off against the nonsense that Jedi bring with them. He got in the ship, he got away, he stranded some of them in the galaxy. That's what he needed to do. He talked about how he likely could not stop the enemy, so as you do when fighting a Jedi, you try to initiate a Jedi trap, as it's called, where any move they make results in their loss. This actually followed, quite interestingly, a Jedi trap as it's discussed in the Revenge of the Sith novelization. A Jedi trap has 4 parts: bait, a remote location, someone to fight the Jedi, and most importantly, a win-win situation. Ezra was used to get Sabine and later Ahsoka away from Thrawn. There were warriors waiting to fight them all in a remote location, and although the win was certainly possible, especially had Balen not defected, or left, I guess, Thrawn still won simply by moving them far enough away. Successful Jedi trap. So I don't think he was stupid, but we also didn't see his full power. I think a better use of the time in the last 2 episodes would have been to have the good guys attempt to send a message back to Hera and the New Republic. Maybe they decode where the ship is going to be, then warn the good guys. And of course, the show would have ended with Thrawn encountering the New Republic fleet and, through some sort of tactical genius, utterly decimating it. That, I think, would have shown off his power in a really interesting way and would have provided a bit more content instead of just little skirmishes and battles for the last 2 episodes. What Thrawn has planned on Dathomir, I'm not sure. Quite interestingly, in Star Wars Legends, we did see a warlord base over the planet Dathomir, and that's actually how it was first introduced. I'm talking about Rancor base and His Holiness himself, Warlord Zinj. Rancor base doesn't really impact the plot of any novel really, except for a few of the X-Wing books, which were introduced after the courtship of Princess Leia. Leia, the book where Zinj is introduced and also dies. I honestly don't see Thrawn as a big base guy. I mean, obviously Thrawn did have bases, but to start his campaign out, I'm not sure if he's going to stay somewhere for too long. A big part about Thrawn's campaign was he used rebel tactics against the rebellion, hit and run attacks, quick retreats, etc. So a base is kind of the opposite of that. However, if he does so covertly, another aspect of Rancor base from Legends is that it was previously a normal Imperial shipyard. So it could either be something he claims for his own or uses to repair the Chimera, as was the case with Zinj and his superstar destroyer, the Iron Fist. But really, at this point, we're still pretty much in pre-trilogy territory if we're making a comparison. Obviously, I don't know how much things will be a one-to-one comparison at the end of the day, but I really don't think we're anywhere near the end. This feels maybe like the middle point of the beginning or even the prologue. Thrawn's just been set up as a threat. Now he has to establish himself, be successful in his campaign before, let's be honest, being taken down. There is also, of course, the other strange element, and I'm talking about Balen and whatever he's doing. I think due to Ray Stevenson's death, we may never see what exactly Balen is doing. Instead, we may simply see the effects and learn that he went on some sort of journey to accomplish, well, something. What he's doing, I don't know. However, that one scene of him looking over the mountainscape very much reminded me of concept art from Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates. Interestingly, that script, which was an earlier version of Star Wars Episode 9, would have seen Rey and Kylo have their final battle on Mortis. Mortis was also to be an important planet in the post-Fate of the Jedi storylines in Star Wars Legends. Basically, in that novel series, Abeloth, the being who I discussed in a recent video, is defeated, but it's said that she's probably not gone forever. The next big mission the Jedi are to undertake is to find the dagger of Mortis, which they believe could kill Abeloth for good. What sort of power exactly Balen is seeking? I mean, we obviously don't know, but the hints are interesting, and it's obviously of a cosmic variety. What I'm curious to see is how this power impacts Thrawn and his campaign. What version of Thrawn are we going to get? The version which is pro-Empire, as we see in the Thrawn trilogy, and is a fairly complex but also straightforward villain, or especially the one from the more recent and canon novels where he's basically concerned about the fate of the galaxy itself. If it's the latter, we may see him even put on a hold his campaign against the New Republic to team up and face off against this entity, which could be interesting. Still though, let me know your thoughts on all this and more down below.